Hey gang, since my pack is in Deceptor Creeper's hands, I thought I would go through something that might help some of the more nascent or newcomers into building and modding Proton packs. So I wanted to give a couple pointers on what you can do to doll up your spirit pack. So I'm going to give you a few pointers. I'm getting ready to go to bed, super tired. But I thought this might be beneficial to some folks. The number one thing I would tell you to do is go to FrankenGeek. FrankenGeek does. I'm going to turn it on if I can find the damn thing. FrankenGeek does a very, very intuitive electronic kit for the spirit packs, and it looks amazing. Go to FrankenGeek. Get that. The second most piece I would tell you to do is try to get Finch's CycleTron upgrade, where he makes basically clamshells to go over here and here to make it look more movie accurate. I can tell you that I painted the shit out of that CycleTron. I was really pumped about the weathering and the paint job I did. Once I got that print in hand and sanded, bondoed it, and painted and primed it, yeah, no way. That's the way it goes. I still haven't weathered it, but it still looks so cool. I can't do it. I can't imagine, weathering that, but eventually I will. The other thing you do is if you go on eBay, you look for spirit pack upgrades. You get a good ribbon cable. You get the hoses. There's a spot on eBay, and I haven't been on there for a while. It'll give you the ribbon cable and give you the hoses. It'll give you the brass rod for the iron arm. These are all really, cool pieces that make things look legit. The other thing I will tell you is, well, I'll talk about the thrower real quick. I mean, if you get a spirit pack, it's going to look a lot like this, right? It's going to look a lot like this. Very small thrower. I wouldn't bother modding the actual thrower too much. I would probably look to get it 3D printed, or maybe get a Spengler wand, or maybe Ben Kent 3/4 scale thrower. It really makes a big difference. But that's down the line. If you're going to use that thrower, totally fine. There's better ways to attach it than the pole that sticks into the hole. There's people that have magnets, or you can look up magnet, proton pack stuff. Do some research, really look at it. These are things that really help the pack. I'm gonna shut this off so I don't wear my battery down. There's little things I've done here and again, 3D printed, crank knob. I've done a lot of painting. I'll talk about that when we get towards the end, which won't be long. This is going to be a short video. One of the biggest things you can do if you have the time, and again, I'm trying to put this like, hey, these are things you can do quickly to make your proton pack. What kind of time do you have? And also, what's your budget? Because I'm probably looking at into this, like after buying the pack, I probably threw like $350 into this thing. I'm telling you to figure out like what are the main things you want to tackle. An easy, cheap one is the motherboard. This thing's very small. If you look back at my first video, probably like 2 or 3 years ago, I was trying to bulk it up. I made this out of 1/2-inch MDF. I also got a real Alice frame, bolted that with spacers. Really makes a big difference. Really makes a big difference as far as the profile goes. Let me see if I can do it this way. As far as the profile goes, that it looks a lot better. The Alice frame is pointed out from the motherboard. Motherboard kind of like gives it some depth. It's pretty rad as far as that goes. The last thing I'll touch base on is like paint. I know that when you're in a rush, and you're probably in a rush, and I know it's mid-September, but if you're into this stuff and you wanted to start modding your things next year, start doing it in June. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I made such a big fuss about getting my pack from the shitty commissioner that did it, because I knew I was going to have to tear it down, or at least I had a gut that I had to tear it down. With paint, figure out what you want to do. I could obviously do a better job painting this, but I'm pretty proud of the weathering. People weathering nowadays just use rub and buff or a dry rub, or a dry brush type of aspect where there's just silver everywhere. Adam Savage said it before, and I either thought or said it before I heard Adam Savage say it, but I'm going to give it to him because I don't want to take away his flowers. Weathering is usually not one color. Okay? So if you look down here, where the screws are hitting, or where their nick might be, there's going to be orange, there's going to be red, there's going to be a little silver. Here where I was talking about where it was leaking, you can see there's multiple different stippling patterns, many different colors. Another thing is, if you have the cash to do it, rip those labels off and go to Moby. Moby makes the best labels by far, in my opinion. But you can look all this stuff up. Look up Spirit Pack upgrades on eBay. You can get this the cable. You can get the iron arm, the yellow tube. Replacement tubing. Stuff. The sheathing for the green wire. All that kind of stuff. You can get that on eBay. But if you got the time and you got a little bit of cash, a little bit of lolly to throw at it, you can make this thing look pretty great. And I'm a big proponent of this. Even with my full-size one that I'm building now, even though I bought and backed the Hasbro pack, even though I have another full-size commission coming, this is a great canvas, guys. Don't be afraid of this, especially if I'm 6'2" and 260 pounds. This thing doesn't look right on me. But if you're smaller, or anything like that, this is wonderful. And even if you're not, man, if you just want to make a pack and wall hanger, this thing fucking rules. So, I hope this gave some kind of education, to you guys, or at least, some kind of way to turn. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'm sorry I don't have any links. I built this thing 3 years ago, and have been bolting onto it since. Anyway, there you go. Spirit Pack upgrades. Get to work. It's almost Halloween. It's going to be Halloween before you know it. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.